Okay, so the collection really started 3 years ago on my first purchase, which was this one. I bought this during a field trip, field trip in Star City way back in 1998. So that was in Star City, field site pa nun yung tawag sa kanya. So this was Detective Comics 621 by Bray Fogel. So, and this one, before I was really into Marvel Comics, it's all about DC for me. So this one was, I think this was purchased later on, Teen Titans number 9. I think the largest among the collection is the Batman comic. So it's obviously my favorite, the Batman number 1. I stuck with the title for until now. I'm still buying Batman. So he had a run with DC for 52 issues. So when New 52 was launched, since 2011 to 2023, I've still been following Batman. So I started with this one, Batman number 1. So Greg Capullo was drawing it for 52 issues. So 1 to 52. This is Batman issue 1 to 52. Batman was relaunched again, the rebirth era. So it started with again a new number 1, Batman Rebirth number 1. And then this one was written by Tom King and illustrated by Michael Janin. David Finch. This is David Finch. Almost 100. This is run by Tom King before he left and was replaced by James Tynion. James Tynion is the next writer. So it was not reset. It still continued with James Tynion. So this is James Tynion's, started with issue 86. So it continued until 117. Tynion was with the book from 86 to 117. Then starting 118, it was I believe Joshua Williamson. It's the new writer, but this was short-lived as well. This there are very few issues of Joshua Williamson before Chip Zdarsky came on board. So Williamson was on until 124. Yes, 124. And then after that, from Batman 125 until up to the latest one, I think it's 130. 130. It was Chip Zdarsky of the Daredevil fame. This is the whole Batman run. So from 2011 until 2024, I have mixed a few titles here, but they are all Batman related, like crossovers, events, tie-ups, tie-ins. So these are all Batmans. These are the crossovers. Dark Knight 3, Dark Knight's Dark Metal. Then there's Batman White Knight. Yeah, this is a reimagining of Batman set in another universe by Sean Murphy. The next one, probably the next biggest in the collection, is X-Men. Here are some of the collection. These are some random X-Men comic books. Generation X, Bishop, Wolverine, etc. And then it really started becoming a fever when Legion Quest came out. This was around 1997. So the story is, the plot is, David Haller, the son of Professor X, went back in time and accidentally killed his father, Professor X. So without Professor X, there will be no X-Men. So Magneto stepped up and became the leader. So it's an alternate reality storyline wherein Apocalypse was the ruler of the Earth. So all the X-Men titles at the time were switched to another title. So it began with X-Men Alpha, and then it chronicles how it started, and then all the X-Men titles were renamed from Uncanny X-Men to Astonishing X-Men, and then the X-Men, X-Men became Amazing X-Men, and then there's Wolverine became Weapon X, and then Gambit and the External, this is X-Force, became Gambit and the External. X-Factor became Factor X. Excalibur, led by Nightcrawler, became Excalibur, and then Generation X became Generation Next, and then it's pretty much Cable became X-Man. So it's I think it lasted for 5 months before it all went back to normal. Help go back the original timeline. So this is Age of Apocalypse, one of the my favorite X-Men event. The fascination with X-Men started with here. This is a Jim Lee omnibus, one of my favorite artists. So this is mostly Jim Lee X-Men comic books from X-Men number 1, which is the cover. This one is the cover. So I think issue number 12, if I'm not mistaken. There, I have a copy of that here. This one, yes. So X-Men number 1 to X-Men number 12, and then some old Uncanny X-Men is included in this omnibus as well. So these are all Uncanny X-Men. Some trade paperbacks that I can quickly show. This is the Dark Phoenix Saga. This is drawn by Mark Silvestri, written by Grant Morrison. This one started the Krakoa era. So the Krakoa era was written by Jonathan Hickman. It lasted until it started I think it's before the pandemic. It's 2020 or 2019. Started with Power of X and House of X, and then I have all the issues of the main X-Men book only from issue 1. Here's the issue 1 until the latest one is 30. 31 just came out actually, but I haven't had the copy yet. So this storyline is actually ending with the House of Fall of House of X, and that's still ongoing. So I'm not sure what will happen. I think they will bring back the status quo prior to the Krakoa era. So before the Krakoa era, they were living in the mansion, and now with the Krakoa era, they are living in one island. All the mutants, villains, and heroes, they all live in an island. But that's over now. It's actually ending already. It's not a big secret that I'm a big Jim Lee fan. So Jim Lee is the artist that basically redefined the Uncanny X-Men, redesigned their costumes the way you see it in the animated 90s version. So he co-created Gambit and basically redesigned all the characters. So that's Jim Lee. So he actually started with Punisher, but I went on to hunt his first Uncanny X-Men book. So this was his first X-Men book. At the time, it was coming out twice a month. Then slowly building my collection of his old books. So some of his old books. This one is a signed X-Men number 1. This is a 2011, released 2011, the 20th anniversary version. This was signed by Jim Lee and the inker, Scott Williams. So yeah, I have multiple copies of X-Men number 1. This issue actually sold 8 million copies. this X-Men #1, and holds the Guinness Book of World Records of the most sold comic book of all time. So that's Jim Lee for you. So that's Jim Lee. So I have X-Men, and then yeah, I even have his cards. These are X-Men trading cards that he released. And then as mentioned, this the X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, the early years. And then some of his DC work, Justice League, Superman, and then one of my favorites, the Artist Edition. So what are Artist Edition? Artist Editions are actually reproduction of original comic book pages. So it was scanned and then compiled in one book. So these are all original comic book pages. So included in the collection are some of the books here, and then one of my favorites is this one, the cover to X-Men #1, the gatefold cover. So this is the gatefold cover, the original page. It's not original, but a reproduction. So most of these are all X-Men, Uncanny X-Men. He's, in my opinion, his best work. And then when he's currently the COO at DC, so he's not doing any Marvel comics very soon. So he's primarily focused on DC. This one mostly DC work, Batman, Superman. So these are pages. Wildstorm, his creator-owned imprint. So there are Batman pages here, Superman pages, original pages, Justice League pages, the Batman pages. These are all copied from the original pages of. These are mostly recent work, early 2000, late 2000 work. So hopefully I can meet Jim Lee in person in the future. Okay, so the next artist, one of my favorites as well. So just like that in the level of Jim Lee is Alex Ross. So Alex Ross is an artist who mostly paints his comic art. So I've been a fan since the 90s, since he came out with Kingdom Come. So Kingdom Come, one of my favorites as well. It's a post-apocalyptic storyline wherein all the DC heroes are already old, and their sons and daughters has taken over. And the good thing about this one is it's the main character, which is a pastor, Norman McKay, is actually modeled after Alex Ross' own father. So yeah, it's fully painted comic. The 4-issue fully painted comic. This is a hardbound, one of my treasured collection. And then so this is a Wizard special, Alex Ross. Of course, after Kingdom Come, there's Marvels. So Marvels also fully painted by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. This is a Marvel version. It's not a post-apocalyptic, but mostly highlights the major events in the Marvel universe in the eye of a photographer. So you should check this out. It's really a good book. And then some of my Alex Ross books. It's not everything. I have more somewhere over the collection, but these are some of my favorites. This is Justice. This is a Justice League story. Justice League versus the Legion of Doom, led by Brainiac. I think Brainiac, or is it Lex Luthor who led the Legion of Doom. So this is Justice. And then of course one of my prized possession as well. This is a signed Action Comics 1050. This is signed by Alex Ross, graded 9.8. Nothing special about this issue. It's just the cover is a homage to Action Comics #1. So I really like the cover. It's chromium. I'm really happy that I got the 9.8 grade from CGC, or Certified Grading Company. And this is my first Alex Ross signature. This is a verified signature. And then the art books. This one is an art book, an Alex Ross art book. Basically, it has interviews about his process, previews some of his works, and lots. There's actually a DC version of this, but I haven't had my copy yet, so I'm hunting for that one. And then lastly, the art book. This is the poster book by Alex Ross. I will not open it because it's too large, but it's mainly it's a mural. So every page he drew all the Marvel characters. Here, this is the hero version. The other one is the villain version. So he has all the characters per page, and then one spread, I think, gatefold version of all the heroes. This is actually you can have this framed, all the pages, and all fully painted. So this is the poster book. I'm not sure if he's ever going to come up with a DC version, but this is the Marvel version. A must-have for the Alex Ross fan. These are some of the signed comics in the collection. So this is not everything. This is just some of the comic books that I can think of, that I was able to find. But there's a lot more of these signed comic books from great artists that I met over the years. Okay, so these are for starters. These are actually authenticated signatures. These are sent to the US for grading, signed by the artist, witnessed by a CGC representative, and then sent back to us once it's graded. So the highest grade is there's actually 10, but that's pretty rare. Usually if it's coming from the printer directly and then directly slab, that will definitely get a 10. But for the ones that were already released, the highest is 9.8. So this one is Batman the Knight. This is an exclusive cover. So I think there's a limited print run on this one. Very own Man X Abrera, Kiko Machine fame. So I had these signed in one of the conventions. And then, yeah, this is Action Comics 1050 cover by Alex Ross. This is signed by Alex Ross. So another 9.8. And this one is Wildcats #1. So this is I'm not sure what version. I think version 4. So this is drawn by our very own Steven Segovia. Drawn, I think he drew 12 issues of this. I had him sign and remark the cover, and signed by the colorist as well. So this was graded 9.8 by CGC. So this is a foil cover. Yep. And then Spawn #1. So I have a huge Spawn collection. So this is issue #1. I had this way back 1992. So I had this graded. This issue is very special to me because this was the very first one. So this is signed by Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn, co-creator of Venom as well. So this one is X-Men #1, signed by Jim Lee and inker Scott Williams, 9.6. The 11th anniversary reissue. This was recolored. And then this one, this is the first appearance of the first Filipino Marvel heroine, Wave. So Wave was co-created by a Filipino, Linil, and then the cover was designed by Miko Suayan. So you see the Philippine flag there. So there are rumors that she will be appearing in the Spider-Man High School animation. So, but that's unconfirmed. So if that happens, expect this to go up in value. It's already expensive. Because this is limited to, I think, 10,000 or 30,000 copies only. This is an exclusive cover by Marvel. So this is not CGC. This is CBCS. Okay. So I have some not graded signed comics. So this one was signed by Charlie Ardlard when he came over to the Philippines for the signing. for National Bookstore. So yeah, this is the artist of Walking Dead. So I had these 2 volumes signed when he came over. Then I believe I have this one is Guardians of the Galaxy 0 and 1. So this came out prior to the movie. This was signed by Steve Gunn. Steve Gunn is the co-creator of Star-Lord, a Filipino artist as well. Next is, this one is a recent acquisition. So this one is signed by Stanley, apparently. I believe it is because it's not authenticated, but I think this is an authentic signature. So this was signed by Stanley. There's no date. It was signed for someone else, but it's a Stanley signature, so I had it for a very low price. Then some of my favorites. This one is signed by Steven Segovia as well. There's a quick sketch from him. This was given to me during the pandemic, so I met him. We had a few chat, and he gave me this remark, personalized remark of Batman. So yeah, this is signed. This one, this is signed by Henry Cavill. So this is when Henry Cavill came in to promote The Witcher. That was pre-pandemic. I think it's 2019 or 2019 December. So I had him sign this one. So this is signed by Henry Cavill. Action Comics #1. This is a reprint of the original Action Comics, 1938. Yep, there's a ticket, and then the authentication certificate of authenticity. And then this one, this was signed by Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange himself. So I had the opportunity to go to Singapore with my wife, representing Globe, to watch the red carpet premiere of Avengers Infinity War in 2018. So I met Robert Downey, Benedict Cumberbatch, Karen Gillan, and then Joe Russo, and then of course I think producer Trin Fan was there. So I had this signed by Benedict Cumberbatch. I was not able to have the Robert Downey Jr. sign the Iron Man because he unfortunately did not stop by in front of me. I had Karen Gillan signed, not a comic, but memorabilia, and Joe Russo as well. This one was signed by Thor himself, Chris Hemsworth, when he came over last July, to promote Extraction 2. So I was there in the premiere. I had him sign this. So hopefully I will be able to have this authenticated by CBCS. CGC does not authenticate signatures, only CBCS. And lastly, this one, this is a signature X-Men 282. This is first appearance of Bishop. So this was co-created by a Filipino, Will Sportacio. Bishop is the one of the popular X-Men in the 90s. So he co-created Bishop, and he signed this a few years ago. I haven't certified this yet. Then this is Wonder Woman 37. This was, majority of the artists here are Filipinos. So there's Segovia, there's Carlo Pagulayan, there's Jason Paz, and then the colorist is Romulo Pajardo. So this is the famous battle in EDSA Shrine in Galleria. It took place in EDSA Shrine. So Darkseid was fighting the Justice League in Ortigas Avenue. So this is that comic. So these were signed by all the artists, all the Filipino artists. So these are just some of the signed comics that I have. I'm sure there's a lot more. I have one by Mark Miller, the creator of Kick-Ass. I have a few more by Filipino artists, and it's just too many to get them all. So these are all some of my favorites.